Okay. So thank you everyone for joining in for the fourth session. In fact, it's the fifth session in the series. We've been talking about Fiori all this while. So we started with the strategy and roadmap. Then we spoke about the different tools that we can use. Then we spoke about UI5. Yesterday we covered the Fiori Launchpad. Today we're going to talk about SAP Mobile and SAP Mobile Start SDK and how do you create mobile applications and deploy them as well. So we have another session going tomorrow where we will talk about different implementation uh, um, uh, possibilities for deploying and implementing Fiori. And we'll also talk about SAP BTP and how do you build your business case with SAP BTP. So this is the agenda that we have today. So we'll start with SAP Mobile Start introduction. We have a quick demo, and we'll have a little bit of information about where you can find more information, what are the different places where you can start, and then end with Q&A as always. Can I ask you to add your name of the company that you represent as part of your name as well? And please keep putting your questions on the chat. We have time for the Q&A at the end of the session, and we will take up all your questions end of the session as well. Meanwhile, if you're already on the call and if there are any chat questions that you can answer already while Thilo is talking, or Thilo, if you can answer any questions on the chat already when Robert is talking, I would appreciate that as well. So we've been talking about, so both Robert and Thilo are part of the product management team. Maybe I'll ask you to introduce yourself. That's better if you do that yourself. So, yeah, and we've been talking about how this entire series is being brought together with the help of the SAP BTP Customer Value Network. You have the link to this. Taurus has already shared it multiple times in the past. I will share the links as well. Please do join in. We run multiple sessions as part of this. You get to hear latest and greatest from a BTP perspective ahead of time. And yeah, so that's really great. There's one series coming up, typically, but in the US time zone. And so I'll share the link as well on the chat in just a little bit. So this is the SAP Garage series. The next session is coming up on the 3rd of November, and this is a series where we talk about how can you leverage BTP for driving innovation within your organization. So it's a great way for you to learn how do you, number one, automate and get your business processes going and bring innovation in your company, and at the same time use BTP to do that. So with that, I'll stop sharing and I'll hand it over to you, Thilo, if you can take it away. I'm assuming you are the one who's going to present first. Oh, Robert.
Yes, so I will start. And thank you so much for joining and inviting us to the call. So as already mentioned, Tilo and I, we will be presenting. We are both part of the Mobile Experience and Engineering unit. I will cover that briefly in the first section of the session, and then we'll go into SAP Mobile Start, our latest native mobile application. Just brief legal disclaimer. This is we are sharing forward-looking statements here in that presentation, and as always, please consider that you shouldn't be putting any buying decisions on that information, and also that this information obviously is subject to change. Then the agenda for today is SAP Mobile Experience. Again, we will introduce SAP Mobile Experience and Engineering, also talk about the vision and strategy for mobile, as well as provide a glimpse on the mobile applications which we have already brought to the market, which we currently work on, and which use cases we are currently considering. And then we'll move to SAP Mobile Start, as mentioned before. So let me start with SAP Mobile Experience. SAP Mobile Experience and Engineering is still a relatively new unit. We started operations January 1st this year. The unit is led by Florian Herrich, and Thilo and myself, we're part of the product management team, and both of us, we're responsible for SAP Mobile Start as a native product and application. The main mission of Mobile Experience and Engineering, or MXE short, is to define and drive the mobile vision and strategy for the Intelligent Enterprise Suite. And that means really for the complete enterprise suite. That is all LOBs like S4HANA, SuccessFactors, and all the other LOBs as well, plus the industries, obviously, which are very relevant here as well. For us, and this is indicated on the right-hand side, the end user is really at the center of everything that we are doing. For us, it is absolutely critical to understand the customer, and in particular the end user that will be using our mobile applications in the future. So we want to understand what their requirements are, how they work, what their work environment looks like, what kind of challenges they have day in and day out, and how they would like to use mobile devices and applications to improve the way they work in the future. So in order to achieve that, we are collaborating and co-innovating very heavily with customers and partners. And we're more than happy to also reach out to additional customers and partners in the future. If you're interested, you have someone that might be interested, please feel free to approach us. We're more than happy to look into that and set up a call with you and or another contact. Also, we are driving user research activities as part of our development cycles, which is, again, very important as well in order to gain that understanding that I was talking about. Mobile Experience and Engineering also develops native mobile applications, and I will showcase some of them later on during this presentation. And in order to deliver these native mobile applications, we have development teams which are located around the globe. So we have teams in North America, in Chicago, in Europe, for example, in Waldorf, in Munich. We're just building up teams in Potsdam. We are building up teams in Budapest and also in India. So that's a little background on our unit. Looking at the mobile vision and strategy, it's for us important to recognize that there's not one mobile worker and one mobile work style out there, but there are different work styles, mobile work styles, and different requirements that come with these mobile work styles. So on the left-hand side of the spectrum, we have, for example, the infrequent mobile user. This is a person that still primarily uses desktop applications, works on a desktop PC or a laptop, and uses our applications, again, in a desktop style. They rarely use mobile applications and probably most of the time web applications. So Fiori UI5 web application, because they want to reuse the same look and feel, they don't want to switch how to interact with the application. They just went back home and they just, for example, want to finish a business process that they started in the office, and they just want to log on to that same application, for example, on a tablet, and finalize the business process. And that's something we have to keep in mind and obviously support. On the other hand of the spectrum, we have a frontline mobile work style. So personas like a maintenance technician, field sales representative, or also someone in the warehouse. These personas have been using mobile devices of some sort and fashion over many, many years in order to deliver their day-to-day activities. They require mobile devices and applications to be able to work and to deliver the work as best as possible. They require excellent user experience. So for them, it's critical to also be able to use native mobile applications, because they deliver this excellent mobile and user experience on mobile devices and allow them also to use the device capabilities and operating system capabilities via these native applications. So again, I don't want to go into all these different work styles, but that's something that, again, for us is absolutely fundamental to look at all these different personas, understand how they work, what their requirements is, and how that actually translates to the usage on mobile devices. And for us, that means that we cannot only have one single answer for the end user, but deliver exactly the mobile experience the respective mobile worker expects to see. And that means for us that we are delivering two different mobile experiences. So the responsive web experience using UI5 web applications, as well as the native app experience with delivering native mobile applications. So the responsive web applications, obviously, they run on desktops, tablets, and smartphones, wherever the application has been released to be used on tablets and smartphones, obviously. And the native mobile applications, they run on the native devices, tablet, phone, any other smart device like smart watches, smart glasses, or other devices and wearables. So this is important, again, and formulates, translates also in our vision and mobile strategy and the applications that we bring to the market to, again, support the respective mobile workers best, delivering what they require and supporting their activities in their specific work environment. That is what our mission is all about and what we would like to deliver. We have already delivered and would like to deliver in the future as well. Part of that, obviously, when we look specifically at native mobile applications, is that we also want and need to support technology trends and innovations which drive and deliver that additional benefit that specifically the campus and frontline workers are looking for when they use native applications, like our SAP Asset Manager application, for example. And here we just have listed some of these trends, and those are not the latest and greatest innovations, obviously, but those are very critical trends that we plan to build in over time into our native applications, like augmented reality or mixed reality scenarios, like artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT sensor information, which enriches, obviously, the experience mixed with machine learning capabilities. Also industry-specific devices. Yeah, when it comes to the warehouse, yeah, we still might have challenges with scanning multiple devices. And here it's important that we are also supporting these use cases and requirements, and also use the best possible industry-specific devices. 5G. Many scenarios where you do not have access to your local area net require these 5G technology to reduce the latency and thereby and also deliver the speed, obviously, to support these use cases. For example, in retail, when someone visits a store and would like to check out using a smartphone whether whatever clothes they just want to try on really works for them. So there are many, many different scenarios where these trends, technology trends, and innovations play a vital role. And for us, this is a critical component, again, when it comes to our vision and strategy, which we would like to introduce over time. Last but not least, I wanted to share with you, as I mentioned before, some information around the use cases and applications which we have developed to the market already, are currently looking into, and will deliver in the future. So first and foremost, if we take a look at the circles in the golden yellowish color, those are the applications which we already, as mobile experience and engineering, brought to the market in the past. So like, for example, the SAP Shop Floor Manager application for the production supervisor in the discrete industries. We have our frontrunner application, the SAP Asset Manager for the maintenance technician in digital supply chain. The field service technician scenario, we have the SAP Customer Guide application for managerial levels in finance, like a finance manager or a CFO, which delivers capabilities and information around the customer to deliver a tailored information and have a tailored discussion with customers. The SAP Project Companion application for project managers and consultants in professional services, which delivers all the information around the projects that they need to be aware of, tasks, issues, and simply supports the day-to-day activities in terms of improving collaboration. We have the white circles. Those are the use cases we currently are internally discussing with experts, but also with customers and partners, which we might deliver in the future. So those are use cases looking at cross-industry scenarios, discrete industries. Again, retail is a fundamental pillar stone. Then we have digital supply chain again, CPG, and also procurement. We have two dedicated use cases, which we have projects which are current. Yes.
There is a request in the chat that the screen is too small. I'm assuming that you are already running full screen, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think, Renu, we can do anything better than that. But
really sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, this is in presentation mode already.
Yeah. Okay.
But you will get the slides later on, so sorry for that. But again, I can't make it any bigger. Coming back to the blue circles, so those are use cases we are currently working on. We are co-innovating with customers and partners, and we plan to deliver a first version either still in 2021 or 2022. And this is around the warehouse operator use case in digital supply chain or store delivery van seller scenarios in CPG. I didn't mention the use case and application on the upper left-hand side till now. This is the SAP Mobile Start. This is our latest and newest native mobile application. And this is what we would like to continue with now for the remainder of this session. So SAP Mobile Start, what is it? SAP Mobile Start intends to bring the intelligent enterprise to the fingertips of every SAP user. And this is really important to keep in mind. This is not looking at a specific group of users in a specific LOB or industry scenario. Our intention is to deliver this application and deliver benefits to each and every user, SAP user, that uses mobile devices to support their day-to-day activities. So it serves as a native entry point to the intelligent enterprise. some of the pain points, and we just listed 2 pain points that we regularly received from discussions we've had with customers and partners are, on the one hand side, hey, I have so many different applications, specifically also web applications, and I have a hard time retrieving these applications on my mobile device at the point of time when I need them, when I want to trigger a business process. So one fundamental functionality that we are delivering with SAP Mobile Start is that all the respective applications, web as well as native applications, which are required by a specific user group, that can be a role, persona, or another definition of a user group, is being made available through the SAP Mobile Start application and can be started directly from within SAP Mobile Start. And we deliver a beautiful, seamless integration between these applications so that this really delivers the business processes and information on the mobile device that the end user requires at that point of time. Another issue that we often face is that critical business decisions, instances which came up, aren't instantly recognizable on a mobile device. At the point of time when I return to my desktop and my desktop application, all of a sudden I see, oh, there was a incoming workflow, and I actually missed the moment when I wanted to, or when it would be best actually to react on that workflow and that critical business situation, because again, it didn't show up on my mobile device. So one, again, fundamental functionality that we deliver with SAP Mobile Start is that we integrate notifications from SAP S/4HANA into SAP Mobile Start so that those show up directly in the application and that you can also open those notifications. This can be a request for approval, for example, which you then may approve or reject, and are able to react on that critical business notification directly from within the application. So it leads you to the underlying application. And Thilo will showcase that later on in the demo that he will be showing. Other functions and features we're delivering with SAP Mobile Start are that you can also integrate web content, that widgets are available. So on your home screen, the end user can show and display the widgets that they are interested in. I already mentioned notifications. News feeds can be integrated into SAP Mobile Start as well. It delivers really a great user experience and a beautiful new modern native mobile experience that really excites the end users. We already have first customers that are using SAP Mobile Start live in production and receive very, very positive feedback from their end users. And last but not least, all of that will then eventually improve the way how people work on mobile devices, how, again, business processes become handy and can be executed based on SAP Mobile Start, using the applications which are tailored to the respective roles, and thereby drive productivity, agility, and also effectiveness for the end user. The main capabilities that we deliver, and I was talking about some of those already, are on the one hand side, it's a native entry point into the Intelligent Enterprise Suite. We are integrating and using the SAP Launchpad service for that. So the Launchpad service is the technical foundation for the SAP Mobile Start application, through which the web and native applications are being transported to SAP Mobile Start. We have a very comprehensive, deep integration into the mobile device capabilities. We start with iOS first. So the first version of SAP Mobile Start, which we delivered end of August, is an iOS version. You can directly go into the Apple App Store and download it to your iPad or iPhone, and also start the application. There's a built-in demo mode, so feel free to use it right away and experience how SAP Mobile Start works. Please don't be afraid. Obviously, we know that our customers and partners also require Android support, and that's something we're planning for early 2022, and Thilo will provide you with more information around that. I will talk about the device capabilities in a second. And then last but not least, what's very important is that the customers are able to configure the content for specific user groups or personas to deliver the experience and exactly the information, the content that is required by this user group or persona, so that, again, we deliver the benefits I was talking about with SAP Mobile Start. Let's have a look at the native entry point. And this is the start screen. We have two screens, the start as well as the application screen. And Thilo, again, will demo that shortly. First and foremost, we have the notifications. As I mentioned, any critical business situation that comes up, you want to be aware of what is happening right away. And this is what we show directly on top of the screen, on the start screen. And as I mentioned, you can click on the tile. It leads you to the underlying notification, and you can then react on the notification right away from that underlying notification. I mentioned now multiple times that we are able to integrate the Fiori UI5 web applications and any native applications into SAP Mobile Start. That is something that our customers can configure for the respective user groups or personas. And it's important to recognize when it comes to native applications that we're not only talking about SAP applications, but also third-party native applications can be integrated here as well. Web links, like shown here, SAP News Center. So customers can also configure tiles that contain URLs, and those then can be started by clicking on the tile. Last but not least, news feeds. So the customers can configure different news feeds that can be internal news feeds, like in our case, SAP News, or also any other external news portals can be integrated, obviously, as well. And the end user can keep himself up to date by clicking on the tile and then being led to the respective news article. Then the UX integration I already mentioned. We are delivering a native Launchpad experience that enables the end user to access all the relevant business applications and business processes and data that they need to use on a daily basis. And you will see later on in the demo, we also ensure that those applications are being shown first, that receive the highest priority. That's something that the customer can configure in the application screen. And there's also a section in the app itself where the most frequently used apps are automatically being shown on the left-hand side, so that the end user always sees the applications that they use the most in the first place. Then we deliver a real nice added feature, Spotlight Search. You can see it on the right-hand side. You just activate the search by moving your finger down on the iOS device. You can enter any search term, like here shown, FACT fact. And any application, whether it's a web or native application that is configured within SAP Mobile Start, will show up here. And that's particularly handy for applications that are not so frequently used. So, for example, if I do just rarely my travel and expenses, I can enter that. and the Concur app is being shown below, I can open Concur and do my travel and expense. Otherwise, I would have searched for that application on my various folders, on my home screens, or when it comes to a web application, I might not even have it on my home screen and would have to dig into my Launchpad or wherever. So this is really a nice and handy feature, and also very quick and fast in terms of accessing the information. Widgets, I already mentioned. Widgets can be configured generally by the customer, but those that are enabled can then also be configured by the end user, obviously. They determine which widgets they want to see on their home screens, and obviously they can add and remove the different widgets. And you see the carousel widgets that are enabled as well. And here is some example on time events, so HR processes that need approval, or even the news feed. So all of that can be tailored by the end user themselves. And it's really handy because it provides first information already on your home screen, which might be, for example, a KPI or an important notification. And you can click on that widget, on that tile, and you are directly guided into SAP Mobile Start and the underlying application, and can trigger the business process and activity that is required at that point of time. And then I already spoke about it, native notifications. Notifications obviously are being shown on your home screen, and also if you have on your Apple Watch. And we have also enabled native notifications coming from S4. And those are, as you have seen, and Tilo will demo later on, also on your application in SAP Mobile Start, and you can open the notification right away and trigger the underlying activity. So last but not least, tailored content, also again, very important. And I mentioned it multiple times now. Customers can tailor the content to specific user groups or personas. And this is really important, that the end user has the information in Mobile Start, which really represents their requirements and the activities that they need to use and trigger day in and day out to drive their daily operations using mobile devices. So we have two examples here on this page. Paul is a finance manager, and on the application screen, obviously he sees the information and the applications that he is interested in most. So for example, sales orders, sales contracts. So how many are there? He can obviously click on the tile and being led into the respective web or native application. And on the right-hand side, we have Alex. She's a project manager. And obviously here for her, we have the start screen and see customer project information, for example, in the monitoring apps. Any information also in terms of notifications, obviously, that she is particularly interested in. I have two more slides with me that, again, illustrate the business benefit, in this case for the finance manager. And again, these are examples. This may be completely different or slightly different for your respective customers. Or your use cases. So for example, here, liquidity forecasts or the current cash positions are extremely important, obviously, to have direct access to that. Or if I need to run financial analytics very frequently, I want to have direct access to SAP Analytics Cloud, or I already talked about SAP Customer Guide, an application that provides 360-degree customer information. All that is enabled through SAP Mobile Start. Here, the example for Alex, the project manager. I mean, obviously, she wants to be able to keep track of her projects. She wants to understand who works on which project activity. She wants to understand what open tasks and issues she needs to pay attention to, and maybe assign co-workers to from her team to get actually the activities triggered. She also might want to run analytics around the project completion, for example, and thereby might need access to SAP Analytics Cloud, or wants to use SAP Project Companion application. And again, all of these use cases, these requirements are enabled and delivered in a very nice user-friendly form through SAP Mobile Start. So I hope this actually already caught your interest. And with that, I would like to hand over to Thilo to deliver the demo of SAP Mobile Start and guide you through the rest of this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Good morning, good afternoon. Also from my side, let me share my screen. 1 second, we should be ready. I saw there are many great questions already in the chat, but I think I will answer a couple of them during the next 20 minutes with my slides, and the others should also be interesting for the complete audience. So I have not started to answer them, but I think we will have plenty of time to go through the important ones at least, and then we will provide answers for the rest.
Thanks. Thanks, Thilo.
Cool. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, good. So let's come to the demo part now. I'm like Robert, one of the product managers for SAP Mobile Start, but in the past I was also the product manager developing it. The product owner developing it with the team. And yeah, I'm very happy that I can present the app to you now. But before I go into the demo, just I would like to repeat a couple of very important statements by Robert. So as we have heard, SAP Mobile Start enables our end users to work seamlessly on their critical business processes while they are not at their desk, while they are mobile, to ensure that critical business decisions can also be taken in time and are not overseen or forgotten. Right? So SAP Mobile Start provides a native entry point for all our users to all relevant business applications and content while they are mobile. So now let's have a look at the demo. So I start SAP Mobile Start. And the app comes with two main screens, the start screen and the application screen. On the application screen that you see here, the app allows me to access all the mobile applications that are assigned to me based on my business role, my profile, right? So the finance manager, as Robert has explained, sees different applications than the sales manager or the project manager. And those apps here, they could be native apps like the customer guide app here I jump into, or they could be also UI5 app. They could be business apps, but they also can be relevant HR apps, like here our SuccessFactors apps. And they even can be social media apps, like I can integrate here my Instagram app, my LinkedIn application. Then on the start screen, SAP Mobile Start first presents me my to-dos. So here I see all my notifications so that I do not forget any important business events that are triggered, for instance, from my S/4HANA system. And as Robert mentioned, we also support native applications, meaning I also get the notifications as Apple push notifications on my iPhone, on my iPad. And if I have an Apple Watch, I even get it on my Apple Watch. So with integrating with the native push service of Apple, we really can make sure that the important business events are not overseen and that the user can always take action whenever it is needed. Besides the to-dos, I also see here my latest monitoring information, and I see current suggestions. And suggestions are provided to me in a very similar way like Apple does with Siri suggestions. Based on my usage patterns, I get proposed the apps that I might use at a certain time in a certain situation. And then finally, I have my news. And here in this case, we see the SAP news feed that I have integrated here for the demo purposes. You can integrate your news feeds of your company, but you also can integrate more functional feeds like best practices on a certain domain. And with those feeds, you can make sure that your users are always up to date. So now let's have a quick look how SAP Mobile Start can support a certain persona, for instance, a finance manager during a very typical workday. So now let's assume I'm Nolan, a finance manager of a mid-size tech company. As a finance manager, monitoring key figures, key numbers is very crucial for me. And I'm always getting a little bit nervous if I don't have my numbers in my view. So for instance, when I'm not at my desk, when I'm mobile. And in the past, it was always a tricky thing. But with SAP Mobile Start, I can now access very important business figures very easily. And let me show how we do this, for instance, with widgets. So here on my home screen, on my iPhone, you see the business widgets that we provide. And here we leverage the monitoring tiles that you've already seen in SAP Mobile Start. And with those, we allow the end user to immediately see his most important business information from the backend without even having to log into an app, having to log into SAP Mobile Start. And the cool thing is that as we leverage here the standard capabilities of Apple, the user can really configure this. So let me show you how this works. I do a long touch on the widget. I now get a standard menu. I can say edit widget, and then I can choose now from the list of widgets that are available, monitoring tiles. I get here a number. I can now switch to another one if I want. And now the data is retrieved from the S/4HANA backend immediately. And now I get the up-to-date information for the widget that I have selected. Another widget example is here our news widget that we have on top. So I again can just click on one of the news feeds and I jump directly, quite fast as you see, into the respective news. And I can study this, for instance, while having my first coffee in the morning. So then after checking my business numbers and after having studied my news, I now have to drive to my first customer, Del Bond. It's a very critical customer, and I will meet the Chief Financial Officer today, so basically my peer. And I want to discuss a couple of important financial topics on our business relation with him. And to be prepared best, I use the time that I have in my taxi while driving to the customer. I open SAP Mobile Start, and then I open from here directly my customer guide application. And in this native application, I can now select the Bond Industries. And now this application retrieves the latest financial information from the S/4HANA system. And I get information like contact information, the key contacts, but then also the relevant KPIs like invoice amount overdue, my number of open disputes with the customer, DSO trend, and sales volume, net chart cost, profit margin. So I can get here really a good overview on the customer's financial situation before I meet the CFO. Now let's say I'm waiting in the waiting area in the lobby of my customer, waiting for the CFO, who was a little bit delayed. And now I want to make use of this idle time, and I want to check my sales orders that are assigned to me. And I can now leverage the Apple search, or also called the Apple Spotlight search. I just pull down on my iPhone, and I know the sales order app very well by heart. So I can just type in my sales order. And now SAP Mobile Start presents me all the UI5 apps, all my S/4HANA apps that have my sale, in this case, in the title. And I can now directly jump into the application, and I open very quickly the respective UI5 application, and now I can work on the respective sales orders. Good, that was my quick demo of SAP Mobile Start. I hope it helped to even better understand the application that Robert has already introduced. And let me now go a little bit down our presentation and talk quickly about the architecture of SAP Mobile Start. So SAP Mobile Start is built on top of the business technology platform. And we leverage several SAP business technology platform core services. So the first one is the SAP Launchpad service. The second important one is the notification service and then mobile services. Besides those three, we leverage several further ones like the IDP and so on, but those are the core services. And the good news is that SAP Mobile Start comes more or less automatically with the Launchpad service, meaning if you have implemented the SAP Launchpad service and have configured it, then SAP Mobile Start runs out of the box. So there are not many further steps you need to do, besides maybe some configuration, because you might want to add a couple of native applications that your users should also be able to open from SAP Mobile Start, right? The UI5 applications, the web applications, you will retrieve directly from the Launchpad service, but the native ones you need to add. But this is just a question of a couple of minutes. And then you can add those native apps like our Concur app, like the customer guide app that I'm shown to the respective profiles. From the business technology platform, we connect then to our LOBs. And in our first version, we are focused on S/4HANA. So here we have a deep integration, whereas you can also access all LOB data via the respective native applications. For instance, the Concur app or the SuccessFactors app already from your mobile device started via SAP Mobile Start. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is blocking the view here. Okay. Regarding commercialization, how can you get SAP Mobile Start? As I mentioned, SAP Mobile Start is provisioned automatically with the Launchpad service, and the app itself is free of charge, meaning whoever has implemented the Launchpad service or acquired the Launchpad service and has implemented it can run SAP Mobile Start immediately. And the good news for our RISE customers, so customers of S/4HANA Cloud who have their respective RISE SKUs, here we have included the Launchpad service and also SAP Mobile Start into those SKUs, meaning if you have one of those SKUs of the RISE program, then the Launchpad is already included and also then SAP Mobile Start, and you can leverage immediately. The mobile application itself is also free of charge, and it's available in the Apple App Store already today. And you can download it after the session, and it comes with a demo mode. And with this demo mode, you can already play around with the app. Certainly there are restrictions because as the demo mode doesn't connect to an S/4HANA system, you cannot open any of the UI5 applications there. But at least you get a first feeling of the application that we have built. And you also can experience our new Fiori for iOS design language that is derived from the new Fiori Next language that we already have applied to the mobile application. One quick comment on consulting packages. So SAP Consulting is offering various packages to help you with various offers. So that all starts with some generic UX mobile strategy packages, but it also goes down then to very concrete packages that help you to implement the Launchpad service as the foundation for SAP Mobile Start. And our team is also happy to support you when it comes to questions then around configuration and the end-to-end integration. Good, some more insights and also a kind of call to action to study our material here. So we have launched a community page, and you can easily find it by either clicking on the link that we have here on the slide. But if you don't want to wait until you receive the slides from us, you can just search for SAP Mobile Start in the community, or if you go to Google, if you type in SAP community SAP Mobile Start, you get directly the link to access it. In this community, we have prepared a couple of exciting information for you. It starts here with the featured content that we see on the screenshot, where we have a couple of blogs and also videos. And the video, I really would like to propose you to have a look at it. It's just a 1.5 minute video that just highlights the features of SAP Mobile Start in a very nice way. And you can also share this video easily. It's also on YouTube, publicly available with your peers if you want to share what you have seen today in our presentation. Besides rolling out information here, you're also invited to participate in the community, ask your questions there, take the questions with SAP Mobile Start to make sure that the question reaches us. And then we are very happy to answer them. And if you like SAP Mobile Start, and in case you will implement it, we are also happy to receive your blogs where you can share your experience. Furthermore, we also provide a couple of technical blogs on how to implement the Launchpad service in the most efficient way. They are at the end of the SAP community page. Then we also have, we also provide this slide to you, where you can find a couple of links to public available sources, like sessions that we have done at Sapphire about mobile experience, about SAP Mobile Start. For instance, our board member Thomas Saueressig has given a demo on SAP Mobile Start in his session, and our Robert and my boss Philip Herzig and Ben Glenard, our new chief designer at SAP, they also talked about SAP Mobile Start and the new mobile experience at SAP in their sessions. Good, that brings me to the end of the presentation. And yeah, let me say thanks for your participation. And I would like to give back then to Robert and our moderator, and then we can have a look at the questions.
Yeah, thank you so much also from my side for your attention, for joining this session. As Thilo mentioned, my suggestion would be that we are now going through the questions. Thilo, I can read them and both of us, we can then answer them. So starting with the first one, can we access SAP Fiori Launchpad as we are accessing in SAP Fiori Client now?
I think you have various options to access the Fiori client. So let me try to answer this question in a more generic way. So the SAP Launchpad service that we leverage with SAP Mobile Start is based on the business technology platform. In the past, we also called it for some time the central Launchpad. And this you can access easily via the cloud. I hope I could answer your question. Otherwise, yeah, please shoot us an email. Maybe I move the chat window to the right side so you can see our email addresses, and then we can have a more detailed discussion on the topic.
Yeah. Also, by the way, if you have additional questions afterwards, please feel free to reach out to us. Or if you're interested in talking to us about co-innovation activities, follow-up activities, please send us an email. We're more than happy to jump on a call with you and discuss whatever your requirements are. So next one is, how do you handle security around the mobile devices?
Yeah. This again, I think needs some more detailed discussion. So you as a customer, you can use a mobile device management system, right, to protect your users. SAP Mobile Start itself, I mean, communicates with the business technology platform. Here we leverage our mobile services and all the security measurements that are offered to us here. We also do a lot of threat modeling workshops to really make sure that SAP Mobile Start is super secure. So security is like user experience key for us. But the handling of the mobile device itself, as mentioned in the question, this is something that is, I think, independent from SAP Mobile Start. So that would be rather a question in the context of mobile device management, I guess. But as said, happy to do a discussion on this topic in detail.
Perfect. How can we create, modify these applications as a developer, or from where can we learn more about it?
Good. Now here the big question is whether the question is regarding our mobile applications in general. as Robert has introduced, what we do as a team, or whether you asked the question regarding SAP Mobile Start and the apps that we launch from Mobile Start. Looking at the time, 11:57, I think the question got asked when, Robert, you were still talking about our unit and the mobile apps we built in parallel. And so let me try to answer this question in this more broader context. So SAP offers a couple of tool sets that we internally use, but that also can be used by customers and partners. And I want to just highlight two here. The one is the SAP SDK for iOS and also for Android. So with those two SDKs, software development kits, we help customers, partners to build their applications and connect them via mobile services to the SAP world. And then we have the mobile development kit. We call it SAP MDK. This is a tool set that is built on top, or that leverages the SDKs, but the metadata-driven environment that allows you to build applications that have very high configuration needs and extensibility needs.
Perfect. So, I guess so, definitely. And if there are follow-up questions around that, please feel free to approach us. There are two additional questions which relate to that. I would suggest that the person who asked that question just sends us an email. We are more than happy to send you a link where you can find more information, material related to the SDKs and also the mobile development kit that is being used. There you will find also information, learning material that helps you to use it really quickly, and which also will talk about the security options, and Tilo already mentioned authentication earlier. Pricing is something we already covered. So SAP Mobile Start is part of the SAP Launchpad service, and the Launchpad service is also integrated in 4 material numbers of RISE SAP S/4HANA. If you have additional questions, please let us know here as well. What is the process around releasing the apps in a secured app market for the company instead of Play Store, Apple App Store?
It would be the integration into a MDM system, I assume. Here, this is a topic we have on the roadmap and that we want to provide soon.
Yep. Will the notifications be shown on the shutter pad of mobile devices even when Fiori Start app is not opened? So mobile start probably, or mobile device is locked. If yes, then which mobile devices are it compatible with? How to enable it with Fiori apps?
Okay, yeah, that's a very, very good question. So as I explained in the architecture section of the presentations, we leverage the SAP notification service. And this notification service allows us to show the notifications in the Launchpad, as you already know from your S/4HANA Launchpad, right? So you have the small bell in the right upper corner. So those notifications you see on the start screen of SAP Mobile Start. And then on top, you have the option to also leverage the Apple push service. Is also done via the notification service, and then the notifications are shown on your shutter pad on your iPhone when it's locked, and as I said, also on your watch. That works very beautifully. And if you then tap on one of the notifications, you jump directly into the respective workflow item in SAP Mobile Start. How can you do this with your Fiori apps? It's very similar how you do it with the S/4HANA Fiori Launchpad today. So it's a business workflow and it has to be connected then to the notification service. There's a standard connection given that has to be configured properly, and then it will run out of the box.
Thank you. Is SAP Mobile Start a replacement of SAP Fiori Client? I can answer that right away. No, it's not. SAP Mobile Start delivers some functionality that also SAP Fiori Client delivered, but it's not the successor or a replacement for that. We are a standalone application delivering the use cases that we were talking about. It's not available for Android. No, not at this point of time. As Thilo mentioned, that's something that we clearly have on our roadmap, and we plan to deliver an Android version in Q1 2022. Is it available for S/4HANA on-prem landscape?
Yes. So SAP Mobile Start is, as we sit on the business technology platform, the Launchpad, from here we can connect to S/4HANA Cloud and also S/4HANA on-premise.
Yes. So I think this was answered. S/4HANA, that's also just answered. That's also answered. How the customized module pool of S/4HANA system will be accessed in SAP Mobile Start. So the question is, how is the customized module pool of S/4HANA system accessed in SAP Mobile Start?
Rakesh, it would be nice if you send us a quick email on this topic, because I have to admit I'm not aware of the customized module pool of S/4HANA. But I certainly want.
I think what he means is if there are custom applications written, how will they access that?
Okay, good, got it. Thank you. So meaning if you have provided your own Fiori application, right, on S/4HANA. So SAP Mobile Start is completely independent. So we can open UI5 apps from SAP, but we can also open customer Fiori apps. We can also open just web URLs or native applications that all can be easily be configured in the SAP Launchpad service. So this is the beauty by having the Launchpad service as our foundation, because this really addresses all the S/4HANA customer needs already in a very nice way.
Yeah. So I think looking at the other questions, those are already answered. If you have additional questions, or if we didn't answer your questions entirely, please feel free again to reach out to us. We're more than happy to obviously A, provide you with an answer, and B, also have a follow-up call with you. With that, I would like to hand over back to our host.
Maybe Robert, let me just jump in, because I want to give one comment regarding Gaurav's question here, how to integrate SAP Mobile Start to our S/4HANA system. So here, if you go to our SAP community page, Gaurav, and at the very end, there is a set of blogs, a series of blogs, I think almost 10 blogs, where we exactly describe what has to be done and how can it be done in an easy way to connect to S/4HANA from your Launchpad service, and then also.
So Thilo, could you please send me the startup link for that, so that we.
Yep. I'll do this live.
I will take out the print screen.
No, I think he can put the link on the chat so that you can download. You can open the link and save it in your browser.
Thank you.
Robert, I'm not sure whether you answered the question that we have around that Sandeep had asked, which is, it is mandatory to subscribe to Launchpad service on BTP in order to be able to use this, right? Or is that not right?
As we mentioned, there are two options. Okay. So either you subscribe to SAP RISE or RISE SAP S/4HANA. This includes the SAP Launchpad service as well as SAP Mobile Start, Or if you are not a RISE SAP S/4HANA customer, and those 4 materials that Thilo was sharing earlier on are the ones in which the Launchpad service is integrated, and with the Launchpad service also SAP Mobile Start. Again, if you're not a RISE SAP S/4HANA customer, then yes, it's part of the SAP Launchpad service.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Just wanted to check before we kind of conclude. Anyone else has a question? You can raise your hand.
Hello.
Yeah, Shubham, go ahead.
Yeah, just one question. Like SAP Fiori, the design concept of SAP Fiori, which is the principle behind it's a mobile responsible. Then why we need a separate mobile SDK or as a mobile framework for design the application for Android or iOS, as it is a responsive?
Yeah, it's a good question. Our responsive technology suits for a lot of use cases, right, scenarios. But if you really want to support the true mobile use case, where you want to integrate deeply into the device framework, like what we have shown with the widgets, for instance, for those scenarios, you certainly need a native development. And as for SAP Mobile Start, it was key for us to provide the best possible user experience and leverage those great features of Apple, like the Spotlight search, like the widget, and the same we will do for Android later. We decided to develop SAP Mobile Start natively.
And correct me if I'm wrong, the UI5 or that framework will not work on the Apple Watch either, right? So it might work on
Exactly.
phone and iPad, but not on the Apple Watch.
Yes, I would not say it won't work. There might be ways, but it's not an idle way.
Yeah.
So if you really want to leverage those native devices best, then it's native development. But as you have seen in my demo, I mean, we open the UI5 applications. For instance, I opened the sales order application, and here we leverage the responsive UI5 application. So with SAP Mobile Start, we really focus on this native launch experience that we wanted to provide in the best possible way for the end user.
Okay. Shubhabrata, I think you've raised your hand. If you have a question, please unmute yourself and ask.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, my question was more onto the roadmap where we can find it. Can you also show us as you showed the community page?
I think the roadmap to start with was already there on the slide that Robert shared. You will get the slides.
Yeah, correct. You find it on the in the slide deck. We don't have at this point of time a quarterly roadmap. We just have the product direction that Thilo was sharing, and we will. We're planning to deliver a more comprehensive and quarterly roadmap than in 2022.
Yeah. So most important is we work on our Android version now. And as we have already the first customer live with SAP Mobile Start, we also want to work with our customers to be able to incorporate that direct feedback into our next development steps. Because for us, it's very, very important that we work with our customers.
Are you able to tell which customer is this and which country from?
Unfortunately, we are not allowed to talk about it, but the good news is the customer will join us in our TechEd session that Robert and I will conduct. I think it's about in 4 weeks, and there the customer will be with us on stage, and maybe Robert, we can share then the link to the session to Mukesh.
On the chat will be good,
with the audience.
So the session is actually planned to be delivered on November 18th. And we're more than happy to share the link, obviously, then afterwards.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. If there are
just last one more question from Shubham sir. What, like you have said, like we will for look and feel, for appropriate feel of mobile application. We used to have a mobile SDK. What if we are using Cordova?
Mhm. I mean, if you have an
Cordova
application,
plugin.
yeah, if you have built an application with a Cordova plugin, for instance, to access a third-party scanner, as one example, then you can also open this application from SAP Mobile Start, and then the Cordova plugin should continue to work. But I mean, you need to build the Cordova plugin into your application, right? Then you can launch it from SAP Mobile Start.
Okay.
Good. Perfect.
Thank you so much, Thilo. Thank you so much, Robert, for taking us through the session.
Sure.
And please do send me the slides. And if possible, if you can embed those two links in the slides, the community link and other links, that will be great. I will share that with all the audience before the session tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone,
Thank
for
you
your
so
time
much.
and